Yo, what is going on guys? It's me, Vivid Naz, hitting you up with some more of that Kingdoms of Under Fire 2 gameplay. Before we start off this video, just want to say, if you enjoyed that little montage, that little snip trailer that I made, the music choice, I wish I found something a bit better, kind of, and the sort of last part where it kind of flashes and goes black, I want to find out a way that I can go like the time and get it perfectly, because the frame by frame thing is easy to do, but doing the frame by frame with something that fast, like the music being that fast, that intense, I haven't figured out a way just yet on Sony Vegas Pro. But you know, life's a learning process. And we'll see how we do that in the future. But if you enjoyed videos like that, then by all means why not stick around. I love making them. But anyway, getting back to the mission. This mission is one of the, well, let's call it dungeons, one of the sort of, you need 4 players to do. But this one, surprisingly, was super quick, and frankly, quite easy compared to the temple one that we had done earlier on in one of the videos. If you want to check that one out, bam, check it out. But, going on from there, so we saw what happened with the whole sort of the undead waking up, and then they're planning, they're plotting, you know, doing their evil shit, you know. We don't know what's gonna go on, and then we're sent to sort of like, I'm pretty sure we tried to replicate the Black Gate from Lord of the Rings or some shit. Like the gate's massive, and you have to kind of breach it. And then we're sort of the force going to the right. There's the main force, which is at the middle. And since I already used the cutscenes in the sort of trailer part, I didn't really want to reuse them, because I have no interest in making my videos longer than they have to be. And then moving on here, we're trying to just to save it, save the troops that are already caught in engagement by the Elven archers and the Elven troops. Here is just kind of a clusterfuck. But I want to point you to look at something. On the bottom right, I mean not the bottom right, just the bottom. I unlocked a new ability, which is a sort of shield ability. It's my first ability that I've unlocked since level like 10. So yeah, the progression's not really, I wouldn't say it's too well planned out. You get new abilities and then all of a sudden you're just kind of bone dry for like 10 levels. And also bring up a note that we are nearly approaching level cap. I think I already spoke to someone on Reddit about this, that I actually want to make a review of this game, a sort of full-on review, and either why it should or really shouldn't come to like the western regions in its state, and hopefully bring up some points that I hope I've kind of pointed out throughout my playthrough of this game on my channel. I feel that I've played this game like enough to the point where I can criticize it, to the point where it's not just the nostalgia glasses kicking in and, you know, me being foggy from playing the first one when I was younger, and hopefully taking that and then judging it as a game and as a free-to-play model. And one thing that I can't really judge is the price you're paying for this stuff, because as I said before in one of my videos, I'm terrified of putting my card or any of my details in some Malaysian database controlled by some 40-year-old Malaysian man who's probably got an overclocked PC running at 90 degrees, and yeah, you know, I just don't have any interest in putting my credit card details and something like that. But look at this scene. We have like about 200 troops just running about, and someone pointed out as well, like, to think of this game as this massive sort of cut slashing sort of game, you'd think the sort of troop variation would have been better, or the colors that they used to make the troops and the color palette for the troops would have been, you know, a bit more unique, a bit more of their own thing. I kind of get confused here. I didn't really know what I was doing, and I sort of tried to go through the bushes. I was like, oh no, let me join this fight, and you can just see people running through rocks because, you know, physics. Then I realized that's not your fight. You're meant to follow these guys. We're going in for the flank, because, you know, why have this massive wall when you can just have a little breakpoint on the right of the wall with some stairs? Like, you know, the archaeologists, dude. I mean, the archaeologists, the architects for this building were top notch. They just knew what they were doing. And then we run into, I think these are meant to be bosses, but they're just one of the casual ogres that we've met before. There's two of them. There's Ogre 1 and Ogre 2, we'll refer to them as. We move on to Ogre 2, and we first of all try and hit him. And I realized that the musketeers don't actually have to be anywhere in range to shoot people, because we just end up shooting them through the wall. They're just sitting outside, you know, casually sitting there doing nothing. I've kind of learned like all of the combos, which is the best combo to use on a single enemy, how to sort of dodge hits as well. Just as I say that, of course I get hit, and get hit for a second time in a row. But yeah, from using a bunch of abilities to trying to use the RTS system as much, but I don't see its uses as much as I thought I would need to use it. It's pretty, I don't want to say useless, but it's of course it's there for a reason, but I thought it would have more impact than it actually did, because in the end you are only controlling 3 troops, which kinda doesn't help it, because you're not really doing much, but you've always sort of kind of required to jump out from the action, and then apart from healing the troops, which is one of my abilities and it automatically drags you out, so you'd aim at the right person. That's all I'm using it for recently. I also found out that my sort of gun ability shackles the enemy opponent to the location, which is pretty cool for rooting them when you're kind of doing something else. Sorry about that. But yeah, disposed of Ogre 2. Moved on to Ogre 1. They have more health than they usually do as ogres. And then their fists, you can see that they're bosses because their fists are glowing, and I think their fists are slightly bigger as well, which is disturbing. But I kind of don't see why my troops just don't like all attack them at once, and they're just kind of standing there from the outside. I think they sort of designed it so 2 packs would merge together, and then there would be one-to-one combat between the troops. But in this sort of situation where there's one massive opponent and your troops, it doesn't really bowl too well. Like you can see them here, everyone's like kind of like spreading out within the enemy and taking on like their own opponent. But apart from that, we move on here, and the sort of point of what we're doing is to get the mortar troops, which haven't actually been doing anything because I think they got stuck in a position to the wall, so they can lend supporting help to the troops that are fighting outside the gate, which are trying to penetrate the gate and get into the castle. And then I really don't know why they're trying to get into the castle. The only thing I saw was this massive vortex in the sky, which did look pretty cool, like I'm not gonna lie. The sort of blue, orange and red vortex, which is haunting the sky. It's probably like, it's going to be like they open the hatches of hell, and you know, we'd have a story just as good as, you know, the gods of Egypt or something, which is already becoming a meme. But we move on to these archers, and we're just kind of trying to mess them up. Kind of cut that part because it is another cutscene that I've used in the sort of trailer, and I don't like really reusing the footage. And this actually looks pretty cool. My troops actually take the initiative and charge in there. I'm just trying to go for the archers at back so we don't really do any damage. And I feel that the hardest part of the game was actually getting to the point where your troops are good and getting good gear. Like at the moment I have got an epic sword, or the purple sword. I don't know if it's epic or legendary. I don't think there is a 1-up on that, on the purple, but it's really good, ridiculously good. But I can still do nowhere near the amount of damage that my troops can do, at least my musketeers anyway. But maybe that's the whole point. You're meant to kind of try and use them to the best that you can. Also, I was watching some footage on this game on YouTube. Yeah, I know there is other footage apart from just me, but there was this person who, I think it's when the beta for the PvP just came out, was playing PvP, and that looks so fun. and I wish when I go on to play PvP versus people who play PvP, because that'd be pretty awesome playing against someone and seeing, you know, who can outwit, outpress buttons, and, you know, just outmaster the other player. And I don't think it's just 1v1 PvP as well, which is cool. I think it goes up to 2v2, 3v3, and even like 8v8. I want to say 8v8. I'm pushing out my musketeers using the sort of RTS aspect, pushing out my musketeers, making sure they're kind of out of the position so they can help me in, well, the best form that they can. And I'm just kind of going on to the rest of the troops. The mortar cannons are firing down. We're finally doing something here. We're just trying to clear down the courtyard so that we can go up on the stairs, position themselves on the walls, and try and take out the enemy. But as I said, the whole point of this sort of mission is to kind of whittle down numbers and make sure that the gates are open for the troops when they finish their battle. And we're coming on to a little over near the end of the video. And I just want to talk about you know, something else. I want to talk about Dark Souls 3, because, you know, recently a lot of footage has come out for that game, and a lot of footage I've just kind of been, you know, trying to avoid, because I'm really looking forward to the game. But there's one thing that I saw that I was just like, I just can't wait to try, was the new sword art, the sword art mechanic, which kind of reminded me of like the Bloodborne different stances with your sword. It kind of reminded me of, like, they took inspiration sort of from that, and kind of how they tried to maybe pick up the pace of the game compared to Dark Souls 2, but still have the elements of the sort of shield and the defense instead of just the movability of Bloodborne. But yeah, that was just a quick side note of, it was just kind of lingering on my head and how much I'm looking forward to that game, and I just can't wait for it to come out. But we're approaching near enough the end of this mission, just trying to clear off the little stragglers, and I'm just wanting that all-time sweet battle that I saw in the trailers. I just want that all-time sweet battle with the lightning strikes coming down and the airships shooting, and, you know, everyone watched that. At least I'm pretty sure the majority of the people watched that sweet ass E3 2014 trailer. Coming onto the cutscene, the mortars dropping down their mortars, trying to pick off the enemy, and then these guys are just like, I don't know what happens. Do they retreat or do they just die? I'm not actually just sure. I'm not really sure what happens, because they get around the corner and they just kind of disappear. Yeah, they do just kind of disappear actually. Maybe it's that thing in the air. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, why not subscribe, like the video, support me. Thank you very much, and stay very good.